Okay.
Hi everyone, this is the Pretty Property Coach, and we are back with another video. And today we have a special guest joining us for a very interesting conversation. We are with Mr. Bush Victor Paradzayi from Pyrite Paradise Real Estate. And I'm really looking forward to this conversation. So, welcome to you, Victor. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi. Hi. Thank you very much for having me. Yeah, and that was an amazing intro, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we're just gonna jump straight into it because there's just so much that we're going to be delving into today, and obviously hopefully some more at a later stage in a later video as well. So let us start off with just a short background intro about yourself and what it is that you do within the real estate space, and then specifically about your real estate firm, Pyrite Paradise Real Estate.
Okay. Yeah. So it's simple. My name is Bush Victor Paradzayi. So it's simple. A lot of people know me by the name Victor, right? So they don't know. If you can just say Bush, they'll ask, who's that guy? Who's that guy? Until you say Victor, and then they'll say, oh, you mean the guy, the owner of Pyrite Paradise Real Estate. So yeah, but today I think they will know it. That my name is Bush. I'm named after the president. Actually supposed to be Washington Bush, W. Bush
Yeah.
in short. So it's amazing how these names came up from, because I was named on the day of 9/11. I don't know if you know it. I have a cousin by the name of Saddam, because my uncle and my father went back and forth saying, you know what, I like Bush, and the other one, I like Saddam.
Oh my God.
So it's amazing. Long story for
Yeah.
another show, maybe. Yeah. So when it comes to Pirate Paradise, for me to have it on my hand, it was a pretty struggle for me, but it was someone, when someone look at it, it they will never wanna be me. But when it comes to me, I call it a pretty struggle for me. Maybe my way was meant to shape me through where it was supposed to go. And then I ended up having Pirate Paradise Real Estate. Um, from school, I went in to a firm. I did learn a little bit of skills, and then I went out, because for you to start a real estate company, you have to have something. You have to start somewhere, and then I had to drop off of that company, and then went back to school and started a side hustle that will lead me to where I am now. And then that hustle was logistics and pictures. I took them serious because those are the uh, principles that I wanted them to boost me up in terms of school. While I was in school, I did logistics and pictures. So when I was done with my degree, applied for every board that is necessarily regulating the real estate industry, which is the RIAC and the RIB. And then after that, like I like to say, it's a pretty much struggle for me. And and then everything just went down, shut down.
Mm.
And then I was hospitalized. I can skip some of the things because it's interesting. That's why I'm saying it's a pretty struggle journey for me. And then when I was from that side, from the hospital, I found everything paved for me, because now I think maybe that's when God was starting to show up within me, and then my business was starting to show up the way I wanted to. Yeah, I think the business that I'm into now is I'm into property valuations, I'm into property agency, I'm into property management, and then sooner I'll be adding something, but that one is the surprise. You will all be amazed on on what I'll be doing next. So when it comes to property valuations, I help people doing property insurance. For them to insure their properties, they had to have a valuation report, because when the insurance compensate their property when there are floods, disasters, and everything, they get compensated according to the valuation report. And then I had valuations for court purposes. The court sometimes can solve disputes depending on how the matters are. When the parents left houses for the siblings, it's sometimes it's hard for them to share among siblings. So the court will then engage the valuers to see how much everything do they have, so that they can share equal. Because another sibling will be saying, you got a bigger property, but while not knowing when it comes to value, that property might be lower. So with the valuation report, we help to identify the if the property have the same equal there. And then we also have, like, for when you want to sell your property, that's when you can come also to us and help you figure out the figures of how much you can sell your property. And then we also do for when you want to get a mortgage from the bank, that's when we will do a property valuations, and then you submit those values to the bank, and then they can give you a certain percentage according to the bank rates. I don't know how do they do that, but I always hear that the banks will then give the people money according to the rates that were given per day. Yeah, I think that's what we do, property valuations. And also, we also do consultancy. When you don't know what to do with land, just come to us. Yeah, and then we will then give you a best use of that property, because that property might be suitable for you to change it to commercial, maybe residential, or maybe you can even do a guest house within that. We can then advise you according to the best use. Yeah, according to the best use of where your land is located, how big or how small your land it is by that particular area. Yeah.
So in terms of career and how you got to where you are, there's obviously a lot that you've said specifically about valuations and how they feed into other industries. They feed into the insurance industry, they feed into the legal industry, they feed into the finance industry, and and so on. And then obviously the obvious real estate selling and buying and stuff like that. So I'm interested to go there, but first I'm interested to just get, if somebody watching this was interested in getting into a valuation career, because it's so broad and wide and interesting and so necessary. What kind of steps? So, like, for example, if you knew how to get to where you are, but you had to do it again, what kind of steps would you take, or how would you advise somebody that's maybe in varsity right now, um, who's hearing this and you've piqued their interest? What steps would they take to get to where you are in your career?
Okay, valuations, right? Yeah, so it's a good question. It's interesting how things work. You really need to be good with calculations. I think if I can really think right now of people who are into valuations, I think most of them, they're into calculations. They love calculations. They love how to deal with plans. They love buildings, you know. If you are were to inspect a building now with someone who like calculations, uh, in my years of training, there was this other gentleman who knew how the house type of house would be similar to other houses by just looking at them. He'll be telling you that, you know what, there's no need for us to measure this house because already I know it because I've measured multiple of this type of houses. So they are at 90 square meters. And then you'll be like, how did you know this? No, let me confirm. Let me just measure it. And then actually you find 89.5 you get, which is closer to 90. So those, I've never found someone who's into valuations who says they don't like calculations, they don't like site inspections. So for you to be able to be in valuations, to shape your career through that, you have to have the heart for it because you really need to deal away with site situations whereby you, if it's raining, if it's sunny, you really need to be in that site regardlessly because you really need to measure. If it's in the bush, like farms, they have those farmhouses, you really need to be ready to go into that situations and get away with the proper measurements. So what happens is that when you are in school, when your maths are good, when your quantitative subjects are good, and when your heart says also you are good to go in calculations, not forgetting the research side because property valuations depends mostly on research. Because once you do all the site inspections, you love all the calculations, there's that part whereby a lot of people, when it comes to research, I always see it with some of the people who I work with in the office. They will do everything, but when you say, bro, I need a research of that property, you have touched them somewhere else. You'll be like, no, I'll bring it. Tomorrow again, I forgot.
Yeah.
It's not like they forgot, but it's just that they don't have heart for it.
Yeah.
You then assign someone else to do that for them. And then they go, you have a proper research and stuff like that. But then for you to be a property valuation in professionally, you have to have a degree, not a diploma. You have to have a degree in real estate. And after you have a degree in real estate, you have to practice valuation under someone, being an assistant valuer for like almost 2 years. And then after 2 years, you are now qualified to sit with the board for real estate institution of Botswana, whereby you then sit for that exam, and then you are, after you pass it, you are then given a certificate for it. And then after you have given a certificate, you then apply to another board, which is called Botswana Advisory Council, Real Estate Advisory Council, whereby you will then have to be checked if you are properly registered with the RIB, Real Estate Institution of Botswana, or you have your degree is properly registered from that institution, because you find that some people nowadays, they print these things to to have the license. So all those things, these are processes, exams by exams, but eventually, if you have the heart for calculations, nothing will stop you. You'll figure out that the route is easier. But a lot of people will say, to do evaluation is very complicated. You need to write that exam and that exam and that exam. So, but when you are into calculations, you find out that all these exams are very simple. So when these exams are very simple, you figure out that you have yourself a license, and now you are qualified to get yourself to be part of other banks. We as Pyrite Paradise, we are not yet in other banks, but due with time, we wish to be part with all those banks, because we believe now it is time for us to be in those panels.
Nice.
Yeah, so
that's very interesting.
For you to, yeah.
So I want to just backtrack a little bit. First of all, I just want to give our viewers a little bit of context as well, because you've mentioned some real estate bodies in Botswana. So I just want to kind of confirm that you are actually operating in Botswana. You run your own firm in Botswana, and I think it's important to also say that because, we know logically that real estate is a global thing. I mean, there's property all over the world. But I think it would be very interesting, maybe as time goes by, to kind of see what kind of similarities and differences there may or may not be between South Africa and Botswana. But I just wanted to put that out there. And then I want to go back a little bit. So you said you have to love calculations. What kind of calculations? Is it like finance calculations? Is it the square root calculations? What kind of calculations exactly?
Wow, interesting question. There are those calculations that you determine the future. You determine the future investments. It goes hand in hand with those guys who knows how to do the accountings, because those are the calculations that sometimes you will figure out that they are not balancing, but the reason why they are not balancing, you did something wrong at the end of the day. When we talk about proper calculations, I can just give you an example. A simple to whereby you understand it. When you want to project the future of the building before the building it is built, right? You have to do a discounted cash flow. We call it a DCF in valuations, whereby you get the plans from the guy who drew them, and which is an architect, and then you sit down with it, you do the calculations. Sometimes we correct those guys because their maths won't be adding up. But because we have that experience and love for calculations, you'll find out that you don't miss any number that you see in the plans. And guess what? The plans might be maybe a complex having more than 500 apartments. Imagine doing all those calculations per unit or per block, depending how similar the units are, right? So after you finish those calculations, you will then project the future. If the developer is going to make loss or profit.
That's crazy.
Or if that guy will make, if your numbers goes negative, that means the developer, it's a no-no. He's not going to make profit at the end of the day. Even your guy, when he comes for a consultation, he will then ask, can you advise us on how can we buy that? Can we buy that mall or not? We'll then do a valuations depending on how much income does that mall have annually, right? When that mall makes loss, why would that investor invest on that? Yes, so that's what we do. So those are the calculations that sometimes needs you to have heart in it. And then other calculation is that I can give an example of how the mall can be built. A mall can be built in a way that the exact structure is not the same as the projected plans, because when the builder is building, he may come up with some complication and then he curves the corner, and then he might increase that corner or decrease that corner. So as valuers, sometimes we are not allowed to use the proper plans. We have to go to site and come up with our own measurements to verify what's on the plan, because the plans might be giving the wrong future investments, while the site, you can just go to site and measure and get the proper exact. So those are the when I say calculations, yes, there are some bit of square roots there and there, because for you to find out the how long your fence is or the boundary wall is, you have to actually use a square root. A lot of people don't know that. It will then makes it difficult for you to identify that how long is the boundary. You then go around figuring out, measuring the whole boundary wall. Imagine an estate of more than 500. Can you go around measuring that boundary wall? No, you will then get the plot size and then you square root that plot size. It will then give you the size of the boundary wall. So those are the calculations that we deal with. It's interesting. It's interesting because we can even go further as saying, how can you value an old building, right? That was built within 1990s, right? So people would then say that brick that was built there is no longer created from now, because the companies that were making that brick or equipment are no longer here. So what will then we use the rates? So it's amazing how those calculations move. Imagine calculating something going backwards, but you were not there by that time. You get, so it's amazing how we do things. So you will then use the method called DRV method, depreciation, method, whereby we depreciate things according to the age of how long it was built or when was it built, and then we deduct that to get the current value. Yeah. And some of them we are lucky because some of the companies are still operating. You find that the companies just changed the logo and the name to upgrade and match the current currency. Yeah, you will then go there and ask them, how much was this brick by that time? And then they will tell you, this brick was just R1 or 1 pillar. You see, but when you come to current moment, you find that the brick, just one brick, the stock brick, it's R5.
Oh,
you get.
wow.
Yeah, so that's what we those are the calculations that we deal with.
The other part that I also wanted to ask you, you mentioned calculations, you also mentioned research. What kind of research goes into valuations?
Okay. All right. Valuation research, it's amazing. I love that, because you and I might have similar houses that we built with similar costs, right? But then you will have to find out that why is your property value lower than mine? You can then argue and say, why is my house less than that guy? But we are friends. We use the same guy to build the houses. You get? That's where the research comes through. The research, it means you have to research the area. You have to go around the area and see if my area is better than your area. We don't call it better, but we use the word inferior and superior. You find that where I stay, my area is superior than yours. And also, you might find that when you do your research, your plot size is smaller than mine. I have a bigger plot size and you have a smaller plot size. And also, you might find out that I'm next to one of the biggest malls in town, and you are not in next to that biggest mall. And then we do that research to compare houses. Yes. So we then call that comparable methods. Yes. I will then go to the department of deeds, title deed. There is where we find collective of property sales, so that we identify properties in your area that were sold in your area, and then we'll then identify properties that were sold in my area to verify if that value is true in the market. So the research is like I'm saying, it's amazing because that's where I learn things. That's where I tend to step away from the office and then identify new things. You'll figure out that your plot has a transformer in it, whereby I don't know if you know a transformer, an electrical cable, a tower that holds what do you call it, electricity.
Sure. Yeah.
Yes. So you find out that your land has that. So therefore, the power corporation will then have a servitude in your property, of which means when we value that house, we exclude that area. We don't put it in. You will then come to ask why my value is down and stuff like that. And then we'll tell you, no, that other back part of your land doesn't belong to you. You have long sold it to what? To the power corporation. So if you don't know that, you include that part and say you give the wrong figures. But at the end of the day, you'll find out that, you know what? I gave away a lot of value because I didn't do research. So that's why I love most in property valuations, because you will learn a lot. You will learn amazing things just because your property is not next to the filling station or next to the road, but we both built the same houses, the same land. Your value won't be the same as mine,
For sure.
because buyers will buy a land that is next to a filling station because I want to get an easier gas before I go to work. I don't want to be in traffic there in town asking for gas or fuel, but I just want to fuel first. Some people would then value your property because of that road next to, so which means the demand will go up, and then land will also go up. We really, yes, there's plenty to offer, but I think, yeah, when it comes to research, it's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is exactly the reason why we also do what we do, is because just from this brief conversation, you can just see how broad, the valuation space is. And I think that there's just too much mystery around real estate from the outside. But when you're inside, like you're saying, it's so amazing, it's so interesting. There's just so much to learn. There's so much value to also contribute. And there's so many ways to do it. So um, we're almost out of time. So I want us to just kind of round it off with giving our viewers an opportunity to connect with you on social media. So if people want to learn more about your work, more about Pyrite's Paradise Real Estate, and more about the market in general, when it comes to real estate specifically, in Botswana through you, where exactly can they find you? Where can they connect with you?
Yes. Yeah, that's an amazing part. So this is not the end of this show and you.
Yeah.
They gonna be always gonna be finding me here with you, giving more insights, giving more insights, amazing teachings. So I'm gonna be always be here giving them amazing teachings about property valuations, and the basic places where people can find me. They can find me in Westgate Mall, Western Bypass. We are at Unit 90, Office 7. So that's where we are located. Our office is always there, open from
What
8
city? In what city?
till, sorry?
In which city? Which city is that?
Yes, yeah. We are in the city of Botswana, which is Gaborone.
Perfect.
Gaborone, yeah. So Gaborone, we are the mall is close to Block 6 and Block 3. And also it's very close to the mass media complex where the Botswana television operates. So I think all the people know it by just close to that complex for the Botswana television center. So that's where we are located. And if you maybe you want to see our pages, you can go on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. And also we are also in LinkedIn. Just go there and search Paradise Pyrite Paradise Real Estate. Definitely you see our logo. It's just a cursive Pyrite Paradise and real estate. Simple as that. Also, I don't know. We have a WhatsApp helper that is always there during the working hours at 71989831. If you are international, don't forget the +267 in front. We are always there trying to assist you guys so that you know more about your property. Disasters that are coming up in terms of property cracks and everything. Last time we lost a lot of people were crying in terms of floods that came through. You guys need to you need to value your properties and go to the nearest insurance company, and then you insure your property so that none of all this can affect you guys. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Bush. Thank you so much for joining us on the stream. Definitely, we're looking forward to seeing more of you. And yeah, let's catch up in the next video. And thank you to everyone who is watching, who is liking and following this page. And don't forget to also follow us on YouTube, subscribe, and as Bush said, you're definitely going to be seeing more of us. So we're going to jump off and then we'll see you guys in the next one. All right. Bye.
Danko.